Come take a look through the orange lens, my friends. Why not? It's crazy town, right? Use the force. Positive mental attitude. You know how we do, right? It's not fake it till we make it, is it? What is it? Grow until we flow. Right? So it's not blindly running into things, bullying a china shop like I used to be when I was younger. Yeah, I get emotional. I feel like raw emotion sometimes, and especially from my ancestors, I feel. Now that can sound a little bit like if I'd have heard someone say that, and I have done, like I've looked down on it. I've thought, them people feeling their ancestors. Now I don't know if they were. You know, there's a couple of people that I've heard say that type of thing, and I full well believed them. But some people, you know, it just doesn't have that authenticity to it. Dishonesty, while we're here, is not a cool game to play. And I only respect honesty. So I'm going to say this to anyone who's approaching me: do not come to me with lies. I'm not going to be playing them games. I'm not a bull in a china shop, so I calmly assess what happens around me. So know that, whoever's lying to me. Sorry to the rest of you, however tangent that may seem, but real talk, if you're going to speak out, you know, in whatever form and fashion that comes, you're definitely going to get some people around you that are going to probably try and figure you out. Some are going to try and trip you up. Some are going to try and just simply diminish you. You know, trolls of all descriptions, right? And just, you know, just work on yourself. Don't worry about other people too much in that area. You know, and I say this because this is what I do. You know, I like to analyse. Some people have been around me lying, and as soon as I sense something, I instantly just sort of go into observation mode. And it's a good mode to train, you know. That's why I promote self-awareness, is because part of self-awareness is training that mode of observation. You know, right now, as anybody who watches me regularly knows, I smoke. So, of the old THC variety. So, you know, like my short-term speech can fall apart. You know, my short-term memory can go, hence why the notes. And these notes have got nothing to do with what I've just said. I went straight into I wanted to say some stuff, so I went straight into that. So, but anyway, let us all be the best we can be, not in some fucking cheesy, you know, life coachy way. This is not what this is. This is revolution. I don't need to burn or kill or antagonise or bully or dominate, because that's what got us here, and it's not what's going to get us out of it. Fire, funnily enough, doesn't put fire out. It simply creates more rage. So in the face of fire, we need to be water, and in the face of water, we need to be fire. Yin and yang, balance. So anyway, I wanted to lay some respect onto my father today. That's really what I planned on doing the rest of this about, and then I might, you know, rift into something else. Who knows what tangents may or may not come with me, right? Because I honestly let it all out. These notes help me because I'll have discussions on my own, right? Like all good crazy people do, right? Contemplating the world. Let me reason this off for you, right? But I'll have these inner monologues with myself, where I'm picking certain things apart, and it does become a conversation, right? And I lead myself to some points that interest me. And, you know, some things I might want to say on camera, some things I might not. You know, it might just be like a clip of what I was thinking, because maybe I was in the bath and I couldn't remember it all. But who knows, you know. But my point is, I like to honestly communicate. And I don't respect anything other than that, right? And so in the nature of honesty, like I haven't, in my life, separate from this revolution, the camera, the music, the everything, like me, John Scott, I had a tricky relationship with my dad. You know, it was something for years I had a problem with, but you know, me and my mum worked through it. You know, and it was it was like one of the lessons I used to say that my dad actually gave me, right? And I'd be like that, like, actually, right? I'm a dickhead sometimes, but you know, it is what it is. We're all human. I'm not claiming perfection. So, but you know, and I used to have like this like issue, but he did teach me a huge level of acceptance. Certainly not the full lesson of it, because I mean, I'm still young. Right? I'm only like 40, like I'm going to be 42 in July. I'm a baby, really. Like people take age in many ways. To me, a 40-year-old is really still learning. You're really still just finding your feet as an adult, right? Like, you can play adult all you like, right? House and car and kids. That's not adult. Not the way I look at what an adult is, anyway. You know, an adult is determined by their depth of character and stuff. That to me is what an adult is, you know. And that's why sometimes I can quite like people. There's some people that get stuck in this "you should have respect for your elders" bullshit. Now, I believe if it was in the true sense of elders, I completely agree with that. I respect all my elders. But people that are older than me don't always have my respect, because they might not warrant it, you know. But I don't know how that little tangent came out. Either way, my father was a fucking awesome man. Right? Like, having to accept him not accepting me was one of my hardest lessons, especially as, like, all the while I was accepting him for being him, right? A man who had hidden who he was. I hadn't hidden who I was ever, right? But my dad hid who he was. He was gay. You know, when I was 4, him and my mum got divorced, and he never came out until I was like, well, he was in his 60s. I would have been like somewhere around 20, like maybe 22, 23, right? Maybe 24, you know, 24, 25, somewhere around that. Like, it was quite a while. And, yeah, I accepted him straight. Like, I didn't, to me, that was never an issue. That was not going to be an issue. My dad had an issue with it because he came from an era where things like that were an issue. And I realised that there are still people that still have some psychological leftovers from them eras before, and some from many eras before, and psychological teachings are a motherfucker. But let's not sidetrack my dad. I want to lay respect on him all the way through this video. I'm not gonna let myself sidetrack away from that, because he deserves my respect. You know, I had such a good relationship with my mum, like depth, full mutual respect, right? That my dad, that's what I was looking for, right? As opposed to just accepting what he was giving me at the time, right? I was like reaching for more, and he likewise was not accepting me, and he was pulling for more. So we were both in this just pull situation, right? And by the time that was like through my young years, going up through my teens into like my early 20s, mid 20s, things did start to change with my dad a bit. But I can't speak on what he felt or thought about me. I know my dad loved me, but I also know that we hit loggerheads on our approach to life. Right? I don't accept fitting into a society that's sick. Like, I could ignore the government and everything, all the problems. I was like, yeah, I can ignore all that. I'm just being me. Fuck off, right? And you know, once I realised I couldn't do that anymore, obviously I had to face all that. And that happens to everyone at some point in time. Like, this is the thing I realised when I was thinking I was going to, you know, leave and go to a small island or somewhere in fucking Thailand or something and just set up a bar and, like, create a nice life out of the way. I realised this shit will go across Earth. You know, one day it will be in all our faces. So we might as well just face it. Doesn't mean we need to destroy the government and all of this negative bullshit. Yes, I want complete reform. But I'm not into, like, people can learn their lessons, right? All these people that have been corrupted by money and power, deceived by lust and other, I don't know what but people get corrupted because they're corruptible, because they're not being self-aware enough, like they're too much following greed, right? I realised I was getting a bit greedy when I went into Bitcoin, right? I got bitten in the fucking arse, and I'm so pleased I did, because I was like, shit, I was being greedy. That was a greedy motive. I didn't need to do what I did. Through what I'd seen about Bitcoin, I knew that was going to rise anyway, and that wasn't like my main thing, but it was a part of it, right? And I was ignoring it because I didn't like it, right? So I got bitten because of it, and it put it in my awareness, right? So I'm like, shit, I was being greedy. It was a tiny greed, but it was fucking there. And if I'd have played on that, that tiny greed would have turned into a bigger greed. Had I have ignored the lesson I was being offered, I wouldn't have the ability to then, when offered greed again, so easily to be able to just go, nah, you're all right. I'm totally done with that again. Like, I'm not overly greedy. Been a bit greedy in my life, I'm not lying, but like, just through, like, we can put almost like a line in between what I was doing pre-30 and what I was doing after 30. Like, inside myself, the things that, like, 21, that was a change, right? And then 30ish, there was another change and growth, and there's been some since. But so, you know, sometimes I reference things that are not now, and I may not make that clear enough, but, you know, respect to my dad. Do you know what? It was watching a video back a couple of days ago, and I looked at myself and I saw my dad's face for one of the first times. I've always been told I look like my mum. I've always seen it. You know, I was clearly my mother's son, right? People would say it. It wasn't just said. I could see it was, you know, me and my mum had that. And my sister as well, right? But, you know, she moved out young. So, my dad was such a kind man. Did so much in community, right? Once he retired and he had time on his hands, he then went ahead and started helping other people, right? And I'm appreciative of there's some things I've learned and grown from the way he treated me, which I didn't like. But it did give me some strengths. And I'll have to write them all down. I didn't do that because I did just want to sort of like rift off a bit and not really. But it's something that I'm gonna study a bit more. You know, because I now feel interest in it, right? It's like, I don't have daddy issues, right? Anyone who has a strange relationship with their parents has emotions on that. They have thoughts on that, you know. But what I've said is very true. I deal with stuff as I go. You know, don't bottle shit up because it gets fucking bad. I was told that when I was younger. I didn't listen to the lessons initially, and I used to explode. And I'm fucking high octane energy. I tone it the fuck down for the videos because, as I've said, it helps me to stay on track more and to like hit some points, and I'm cooler with it. I prefer the delivery on video just to be a little bit less like budge, you know. But if anything, that is only a demonstration of my own self-control, right? It's not like I'm being deceptive. It's just I have self-control. I can choose when to use and what to do, right? I choose to let certain things out. Like, if I feel the rage of my ancestors, I'll fucking let it be known. Know that, you know? Anyway, it's not just the rage of my ancestors I have, it's the fucking love. I stood on the South Downs today and I absorbed some of it, and I feel good for it. So don't think it's crazy, people. Just learn to love nature, use the force, positive mental attitude, be kind with your thoughts to yourselves like you would for others. Keep loving your hearts for yourselves like you would for others. And let's get it. Get what, John? Awareness course. Peace in.